no country can become a NATO member as long as it has a border issue, and Ukraine has some serious border issues. No NATO membership is foreseeable for Ukraine in the near future, despite what the United States leadership says. Well, I think the first thing to note is that Antony Blinken doesn't make NATO membership policy. It requires the unanimous agreement of all NATO members. And we know that there are several NATO members that would at the moment not accept Ukraine as a member. Second, no country can become a NATO member as long as it has a border issue. And Ukraine has some serious border issues in the south with Crimea, Kherson, and in the east with the Donbass region and Zaporizhia. So at the moment, I don't think it's possible for you to join NATO anytime soon. Yes, I've been a little bit surprised by how close these ties are becoming, because it seemed to me that it's not really in China's interest to have a long-term war in the middle of Europe, which is one of its main trading zones. And I think China on stage posed as a mediator in this war, but neither side agreed to China's ideas. They made 10 points, and these points were not accepted by both sides. So China seems to have continued really to stay with Vladimir Putin. But I think in the longer term, they try to persuade Russia to come to some kind of terms, because there's no logic, I think, for China supporting Russia's aggression or Russian occupation of Ukraine or other regions of Central and Eastern Europe. So, I think the United States has a possibility to approach China to come to some kind of agreement that China could mediate this war and help to bring it to an end. But at the moment, that's not happening. Yeah, it certainly could. I mean, the thing is that China has become a major global power. I mean, maybe at the moment it's not such a military power, but it's a global power. The United States is a global power. Russia, frankly, isn't a global power. It's a military power with an economy that's about the same size as Italy. So let's be frank, Russia is not a world power, but it has nuclear weapons, in fact, more nuclear weapons than any other state, and that makes Russia dangerous and hard to ignore. So Russia has to be kind of included. But the two major rival powers economically are the United States and China. And it really is a matter of the US administration, the US leader, and the two houses deciding how to approach China. And to me, it's been a very confused series of signals from the United States. Is China an enemy? Is it someone the United States wants to trade with in a major way, as it has been doing? And I think it's more logical that the United States should approach China rather than have both China and Russia lined up against it. I think that's a rather dangerous thing. But the United States is also having an election this year, could result in a change of leadership. And if Donald Trump becomes president again, then of course we have no idea what would happen. But Trump has said that he would bring the war to an immediate end. And he has a good relationship with President Putin that was initiated in his first term as president. So possibly things could. No, only to say perhaps that at the moment it's not possible to end this war on the terms that have been laid down by Russia, which is the annexation of 4 major Ukrainian provinces in addition to Crimea. I don't think that's really the way out of it, and I think major states in the world should encourage Russia strongly to give up these territorial ambitions and come to some kind of terms. See, I don't personally think this war is about NATO. I think it's about Russia's ambitions, Putin's ambitions vis-a-vis Ukraine, and actually eliminating the Ukrainian government and Ukraine as a national state. When Sweden and Finland joined NATO, there were no protests from Russia. And on the surface, if NATO was the problem, that should have been an outrageous addition to NATO membership, but it wasn't. So that's my personal view for what it's worth.